in a small, forgotten village, tucked between the misty hills of Thailand. There once lived a woman named Nak. She was beautiful beyond compare, with hair like flowing silk and eyes deep as the river. Her husband Mac adored her more than life itself. They were a simple couple, living a peaceful life amidst the swaying rice fields. But when war came, Mac was conscripted and marched away, leaving Nak behind, heavy with child. Alone, she worked the rice fields every day, her swollen belly swaying as she planted seeds in the wet earth. The long days grew darker as she labored, knowing her husband's return was uncertain. And then, one stormy night, it happened. Nak's labor began in the midst of a brutal storm. Lightning cracked the sky, thunder roared like an angry god, and rain fell in torrents, soaking the ground. Alone in the rice fields, she cried out in agony. Her screams were so loud, so desperate, that they echoed across the land, carried by the wind. But no one came. No one dared. By the time the villagers found her, it was too late. Her body lay lifeless in the flooded fields, clinging to her stillborn infant, blood soaked into the soil, darkening it forever. The very ground seemed to mourn her death. But death, it seems, was not the end for Nak. When Mac returned, exhausted and wounded from the war, he was overjoyed to find Nak waiting for him at their tiny house. There she stood, cradling their baby, her smile as radiant as it had been before the storm, before the tragedy. She cooked for him, sang to their child, and laughed. The sound filling their small home. At first, everything seemed normal. But as days passed, Mac began to notice things that were off. Nak's touch was ice cold, even under the burning sun. She never ate with him. Instead, she stared at him, her hollow eyes full of hunger. And at night, when the oil lamp flickered, her shadow on the wall seemed wrong. Two figures appeared, hers and something else, something that slithered. The villagers tried to warn him. "Your wife is dead," they whispered, their voices full of fear. "Leave the house. Save yourself." But Mac refused to listen. He couldn't bear the thought that his beloved Nak might be something else. He clung to the hope that she had returned to him, alive again. One night, after another unsettling encounter, Mac finally listened. He could no longer ignore the warnings. The fear that had been growing inside him turned to dread, and he knew, deep down, that something was terribly wrong. He snuck away under the cover of darkness, heart pounding in his chest. But Nak knew. She followed him, her form twisted, stretched into something inhuman. Her face split open, her mouth widening grotesquely, revealing jagged teeth like broken glass. And then she called his name, but it wasn't her voice. It was something far darker, a voice filled with rage, a twisted echo of what had once been love. Mac fled, running through the rain-soaked village, his heart racing as he sought refuge. He reached the temple, begging for sanctuary, praying for safety. The monks, grim-faced, worked quickly, their hands moving over ancient clay. They trapped Nak's furious spirit inside a jar, sealing it with sacred spells and burying it deep beneath the roots of an ancient banyan tree. The air felt still as they completed the ritual, and for a brief moment, the world seemed to hold its breath. But the earth, it shifts. Roots crack deep beneath the surface. And though the monks thought they had sealed her away, Nak's spirit could never truly be contained. When the rice fields are heavy with mist, sometimes the villagers still see her, a woman standing ankle-deep in water, her arms reaching out, calling to anyone who dares to listen. If you ever hear her calling your name from the fields, you must never answer. No matter how sweet her voice sounds, no matter how much it reminds you of someone you once loved, you must turn away. Because if you answer, even with a single word, she will come for you. Her hands, cold as the grave, will reach from the flooded earth and drag you down. Deep into the mud, deeper than the roots, deeper than memory itself. You will vanish without a trace, swallowed by the land, lost to the living, and no one, not even those who love you most, will ever find your body. Only the fields will remember, and in time, even they will forget. Deep in the black forests of Germany, where the trees grow so thick, no light can reach the ground, there is a legend, a story whispered from generation to generation, a name spoken only when the wind howls. The Pale Mother, the Visfrau, older than any castle, older than any kingdom. Her sorrow clings to the stones and the roots like a second skin. Those who walk these woods after dark know better than to listen to the sounds between the trees. Once, the Pale Mother was a noblewoman, a lady of grace and quiet strength. She was married to a man who wore a crown of gold, but possessed a heart of stone. To him, she was nothing but a tool to forge alliances, a vessel to carry heirs and promises when she refused his demands to marry another for political gain. He did what all cowards do. He caged her, high above the world in a crumbling stone tower. He locked her away. She was heavy with child, but her cries for help fell on deaf ears. Days blurred into nights. Hunger gnawed at her bones. She clawed at the walls until her fingers bled. Her only companions were rats and the cold wind that whistled through the cracks. Alone, in the pitch darkness, she gave birth. Her screams echoed down the empty corridors, but no soul came to her aid. The baby's first cries were soft, uncertain, as if even the child knew they were already abandoned. She wrapped the infant in the torn remains of her gown and rocked him against her hollow chest, singing lullabies into the dark. Days passed. Food never came. Strength drained from her body like water from a broken jug. The child grew weaker until the cries ceased. Mother and child, together in death, crumbled into silence. Their bodies were left to rot behind stone walls, forgotten by the world that had betrayed them. But not even death could silence their pain. On stormy nights, servants whispered of a figure drifting through the castle ruins. A woman in white, cradling something in her arms. Her sobs wove through the halls, freezing the blood of any who, per her animals, refused to enter the tower. Fires would sputter and die in her presence, and slowly the castle was abandoned, left to the Pale Mother. Now, she roams the forests that swallowed her home, draped in a tattered gown, pink-stained at the hem from centuries of blood. She moves through the mist. In her arms, the mangled remains of her child, clutched close to her hollow chest. Her, broken and weeping, calls out for help, but it is a siren's call, a lure for the living. It begins with mercy. A faint cry from deep within the woods, fragile, human, helpless. Only the soft-hearted will hear it. Only the good will step off the path. They stumble between the trees, the mist thickening with every step, the world behind them fading into silence. The sobs lead them deeper still, until the forest closes in, cold and suffocating. And there, waiting in the choking dark, stands the Pale Mother. Her torn white gown clings to her broken frame. Her black hair hangs in filthy ropes across her split face and in her arms. Something bloody twitches weakly. Those who reach out in kindness vanish without a sound. Only the earth remembers them, swallowing their bones without leaving a single trace. Some hear only the weeping and escape with their lives. But if you hear your name carried on her breath, you have already been chosen. In that moment, the Pale Mother binds herself to you, You will feel her even in daylight, a cold shadow just beyond your sight. You will dream of her, a figure lurking at the edge of your mind, her eyes hollow, her hands reaching. Each night, she will come closer, standing at the foot of your bed, silent and patient. You will wake to her whisper, curling in the darkness. Come to me, and you will understand too late that there is no hiding, no running, no prayers that can sever the chain she has wrapped around your soul. When the final night comes, you will know. The air will grow heavy, thick with rot. The walls will seem to close in, and when you open your eyes, she will be there at last, fully revealed. The pale mother, her white gown soaked in old blood, dragging behind her like a funeral shroud. Her long black hair, tangled and wet, plastered across a face torn down the center. Her broken jaw sagging open in a silent scream. Her arms unnaturally long, twisted at impossible angles. Reaching for you, fingers cracked and clawed. Her touch will tear the breath from your lungs. And in your final gasping moment, you will understand that this was always meant to happen, that you were hers from the very first whisper. There is no salvation from the pale mother. No prayer, no charm, no sacred word can protect you once she has spoken your name. You can run across cities, mountains, even seas, but her sorrow will follow you, clinging like a second skin. Every shadow will seem to move. Every whisper will carry her breath. And in the dead of night, when your strength is gone, she will come for you, patient. Inevitable, unstoppable. It will begin with a whisper at the edge of your dreams. Come to me. The air will turn cold. Your body will stiffen in terror. And when you open your eyes, she will be there, gaunt, broken, her arms reaching out. Her touch will tear your soul from your body, dragging you into her endless mourning. And deep inside, some part of you will remember everything you lost, and it will never stop screaming. Along England's eastern shore, the world ends in ragged cliffs, moaning heaths, and lonely stretches of mist-drenched land. These are places where the wind cuts like a knife and the ground itself feels hollow. Locals warn of an ancient horror, a black hound as large as a pony, its eyes burning like fallen stars. They call it the Black Shuck, and when it roams the coastlines, even the bravest souls bolt their doors and whisper prayers in the dark. The first written account dates to 1577, on a night when the sky itself seemed to split apart. Lightning struck Blithburgh Church, ripping the great doors from their hinges. Amidst the swirling smoke and screaming congregation, a creature emerged, a monstrous hound, soaked in rain, steaming in the cold, its eyes to points of molten fury. It moved with impossible speed, a blur of darkness and death unleashed by the storm. In the chaos, two fell bodies shattered before they even cried out. Witnesses swore the beast left something behind. Claw marks burned deep into the church's stone walls, untouched by rain or time. Those marks still scar the ancient stone today. They are not legend, they are proof, a warning etched in stone by the Black Shuck itself. After that night, the story spread like wildfire across the eastern counties. The Black Shuck was not a creature to be fought or hunted. It was an omen, a harbinger of doom. Travelers, shepherds, even entire villages began to tell of red eyes in the dark, of heavy footfalls on deserted roads. Those who saw it soon met grim fates, accidents, sickness, or simply disappearing into the fog. You will never see the Black Shuck first. It announces itself in ways that twist the mind. A heavy, wet breathing just behind your ear. The sharp scrape of claws on stone. A low growl so deep it makes the very air tremble. And then silence. Silence so thick it drowns your heartbeat. If you dare to turn, you will find it. Two burning eyes, locked onto you through the mist, ancient and merciless. Meeting the Shuck's gaze is not an attack. It is a sentence. From that moment, you are marked. Days, weeks, sometimes even months may pass, but death is already stalking you. Accidents seem random. Sickness strikes without warning, and those around you begin to sense the cold shadow trailing you. It is not a question of if, only when. The old tales offer false hope. A piece of bread, a whispered prayer, simple offerings meant to ward off a force that is beyond such things. Those who kneel in prayer find no comfort. Those who offer gifts are met with cold indifference. The Shuck is a creature of fate. It chooses whom it chooses, and nothing can sway it once it has laid its burning eyes upon you. There are always some who panic, who break into a run, driven by the primal urge to flee. It is then that the Shuck gives chase. You will hear the thunder of its massive paws, the violent tearing of the ground behind you. And just as you think you might escape, a weight like a falling boulder slams into your back, and everything goes dark. You become another story whispered over fires, another name lost to the mist. Some are not claimed immediately. They return home, thinking they have escaped, but they are wrong. At first, it is subtle, a chill that clings to the corners of your room, no matter how many fires you build. Shadows that seem to shift when you aren't looking. You tell yourself it's nothing. But at night, you feel it. Watching, waiting. The black Shuck lingers just beyond your walls, patient as stone. You might glimpse it through the window, a massive shape hunched in the fog, eyes smoldering with hatred. Sleep becomes impossible. Every creak, every whisper of wind becomes a heartbeat louder. You pull the covers over your head, too terrified to look, because deep down, you know it's getting closer. The night it claims you begins like any other, until you wake, paralyzed by an icy stillness in the air. You hear it first, the slow, wet breathing by your bedside. You can feel the weight of something massive in the darkness, the heat of its rancid breath creeping across your face. And when you dare to open your eyes, you see it. A towering shadow at the foot of your bed, its body dripping with mist, its burning red eyes locked onto yours. It doesn't lunge, it doesn't snarl. It waits, savoring the moment you realize you are utterly helpless. Your scream catches in your throat as it steps closer, massive paws sinking into the floorboards without a sound. And just before it reaches you, the world goes black. Morning breaks, and the world seems strangely untouched. The hearth is cold. The doors remain bolted from the inside. But you are gone. They find the bed undisturbed, save for the twisted blankets and a faint scent of smoke in the air. And outside, just beyond the threshold, pressed deep into the earth, a single paw print, larger than any natural beast could ever leave. No signs of a struggle, no blood, only the unbearable weight of silence and the knowing dread that what took you was not of this world. So, hear this now, a warning older than the hills. If you wander the moors at night, and the fog swallows the stars, and the silence grows so loud it drowns your own breath, do not stop. Do not look back. No matter what you think you hear, footsteps behind you, ragged breathing at your neck, you must not turn, because if you do, you will see it. A hulking black hound, its eyes burning with ancient rage, waiting to mark your soul. And once the black Shuck has seen you, you are already lost. No prayer can save you. No light can guide you home. You will walk forever in the mist, a ghost yourself, hunted by the monster you dared to notice.